Previously on The Science of Nothing.
I think everyone should shower like this. I'm not turning.
Breezy.
Holy.
Keep your eye on it.
I didn't pass the leak test. I'm going to my hotel. I'm in Arizona to meet with GORE's team of experts in the field of camouflage design and concealment. Instead of making a hunter look like something, their primary objective is to make him look like nothing. I'm Kurt Dowsett, and this is the science of nothing. My first stop was to visit with Colonel Tim O'Neill, the father of digital camouflage design. Now, Tim, tell me how you got into this.
This started back when I was a young captain teaching at West Point in the 1970s. I'd been doing some graduate work in human perception and teaching the subject to West Point cadets.
From its humble beginnings of painting pixels on armored personnel carriers with a 2-inch roller, Colonel O'Neill's research has expanded to include a number of other scientific principles, and today, virtually all personal military concealment technology is digital in nature and based on O'Neill's expertise.
It's not all paints and textiles. It's not all engineering design. A lot of it is the science of vision and how we see things in the world. And to understand this, we have to look at the way the visual system is designed and what we call focal and ambient vision, the what is it and the where is it system.
Okay.
So let's go on out in the field and I'll demonstrate to you how that works.
All right, let's go. So basically, a person wants to break up their lines on their body, right?
Well, that's part of it. Some people who design camouflage have been asking the question, do you want to break up the shape or do you want to match the background? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
You want to do both, which is one of the secrets of the patterns that we design.
O'Neill taught me that the human body has what is known as a signature made up of identifiable lines and obvious symmetry that is easily recognized by humans and particularly by their prey. By interrupting those lines and the body's symmetry with a macro pattern of light and dark blobs and streaks, immediate identification is disrupted. This is the first step in becoming nothing. But nature is made up of more than the lights and darks that make up the positive and negative shapes in the world around us. Fine texture defines our world. Therefore, overlaid on the macro pattern is a fractal geometry-based micro pattern. O'Neill cited compelling examples where nature applies these macro and micro pattern principles.
In nature, among large animals, we have two kinds of camouflage patterns. One is for animals that, like the leopard, that hunt from ambush.
Okay.
They just sit there very quietly, spotted, matching the background in the shadows, and wait until something tasty goes past.
Their camouflage pattern is an example of
Texture,
the
micro pattern, which is the texture. Now, if you're going to stalk through a complex environment, you're going to have stripes that break up the lines of movement.
That's a
tiger.
Okay.
Like a tiger.
And that's the macro pattern.
That's right.
Okay. So if we're out here, we want to use both of them, basically.
That's right, and that's an advantage we have over nature. The natural processes can basically give you spots or stripes. It can't give you both. We can make configurations that both break up the characteristic geometry of the target form and a texture that makes it hard to see against the background.
And that's what you guys do so brilliantly here at GORE, is you've created basically that, right?
That's exactly right.
True to GORE's commitment to scientific validation, O'Neill has overseen hours of validation testing with human subjects. The key to this testing is that the imagery has been run through various filters that force humans to see through ungulate eyes. The resulting data is analyzed and the effectiveness of various camouflage patterns can be determined.
The patterns are of two sizes. One's consistent with 20 meters range, one's consistent with 40 meters range. If you're farther than that, it's going to be a difficult shot, particularly with a bow.
Yeah. What would you tell somebody if they're looking at a pattern like this when they're shopping for something? I mean, they're obviously not 20 meters away. Tim's background has him more concerned with concealing snipers than how camouflage performs in the retail environment. But he told me that unless you're seeing things through the eyes whose detection you're avoiding, you're not approaching concealment the right way. Even the highest definition mimicry patterns that look perfect at a 1 meter range tend to block up a distance into a mass of gray in the eyes of an ungulate due to a principle known as isoluminance.
At that point, you might as well just be wearing a gray suit.
Okay.
What we have with the micro pattern and the macro pattern is that it works close up, and then it works in a different way when you get at a longer range.
And that's how a deer would see you.
That's exactly
But that's
right,
not
yes.
how a deer would go shopping for something like this.
No,
They
no.
want to look 20 meters away at something.
Right.
I guess basically is what we need to think of when we're shopping for something.
Absolutely, yeah.
As O'Neill's developments began to be fine-tuned, Gore sought out the partner that would deliver this science to the hunter, Sitka Gear. Brad introduced me to Jason Hairston and Jonathan Hart, the founders of Sitka, whose approach to hunting gear is based on their own demanding use.
Sitka was born out of necessity. We were frustrated with the gear that was available in the hunting market.
Now you guys are hunters yourself, right?
Yeah, we live and breathe it. A lot of outdoor backcountry experience. That gives us a background for the type of gear that we really couldn't find what we wanted to create. And what John was saying, Gore is just a natural fit for Sitka. It's been a really good partnership. They're constantly pushing the bar on technology and performance. It's what we're trying to do with our garments and our gear.
Having talked to the scientists, validation testers, camouflage developers, and manufacturers, I felt there was one more perspective I needed, that of the hunter. And when you're in Arizona, there's one hunter you want to talk to, world-renowned hunting writer and editor, Bob Robb.
So this has kind of changed the whole face of how people are trying to track the prey and all that.
This is going to change the whole industry. It'll take it to another level. The camouflage business has been stagnant for years and years, and this is going to shoot it to another level. And the serious hunter, they don't care if their camouflage looks good on a beer cooler or on a car seat or a billboard or in a store rack. They want to know, is it going to help me be more successful in the woods? That's what it's all about.
So this whole concept of becoming nothing is fairly new to the whole industry.
It's never been done before.
Really?
It's a revolutionary concept, and nothing sounds like not much, but it's really something big.
Well, in this episode, we've looked into the minds of scientists, product developers, and hunters to see how they view digital camouflage design and concealment. Join me next time as we look through the eyes of deer, elk, moose, and other ungulates to see how they view the world around them. I'm Kurt Dowsett, and this is The Science of Nothing.